All right, guys, Chang Pope here again with more PAX East 2011 coverage. I'm here with Gene Bong, and he is the executive producer of Autumn Games. Just got a chance to try out Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine. Very interesting name there. You want to tell us how the name and just the whole game concept came about?
Sure. So Jimmy Johnson, 5-time NASCAR Sprint Cup winner. You know, he came to us with this inspiration. His racing heritage, he's done everything from off-road, motocross, buggies and stuff like that. At one point he actually said, I'll race anything with an engine. And so that was the inspiration for the title. And the developers kind of took that and the fact that Jimmy and his crew, like during their downtime between races, they actually love to play games. One of the games that always comes up is Mario Kart. But they always felt a little embarrassed playing, you know, Mario Kart, especially on the NASCAR track. So they wanted to take the same premise, same level of fun and intensity, but age it up a little bit for a slightly older audience, not quite as cartoony.
Now, one thing that I noticed while I was playing is you guys are throwing in some modes that you typically don't see in other games. I know that the Matador mode, I believe it was called, I haven't really seen that in another game type. You want to kind of talk to us about that game type?
Sure. Matador mode, we actually start two groups of racers going in opposite directions on the same track, leading to lots of head-on collisions and lots of combat.
Now, another thing you mentioned was, I believe it was something that came from Jimmy Johnson originally, was one thing you didn't like about Mario Kart was kind of that rubber band kind of effect, and I know you said you guys were trying to work against that. Well, how were you trying to prevent something like that?
Exactly. That was one of his pet peeves, where you would be in first place and all of a sudden you get slowed down in order to like let the rest of the pack catch up. So instead of that, the developers put shortcuts in strategic places on all the tracks, which are triggered by your proximity to the lead. So if you fall really far behind, those shortcuts will open up for you, whereas if you're in the pack, they'll stay closed. But that allows people who fall behind a way to get back into the race and keeps it really competitive.
There's a bit of element of strategy with there too, because I noticed as I was going, I was only in, say, 4th place, but I guess someone farther behind was near me when the shortcut opened up. So I thought, hey, why don't I take this and just get a bit more of a lead, you know? So there's a bit more of a strategy to that. Now, of course, in line with the Mario Kart kind of similarities, there's, of course, the power-ups. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
So, unlike Mario Kart, where you hit random power-ups, you earn power-ups by earning points through the race, either by driving over markers or performing drifts, taking out opponents and stuff like that. And you earn power-ups like rockets, mines, turbo boost, and also stuff, we have these side rams, which will knock opponents around you into the wall or off the track. And that's also another component that we haven't seen in other kart racers.
And then I noticed also, as you were going along, they were kind of being upgraded. I know I haven't really seen anything like that in other games too. Are there going to be, you know, some special things you can do once they're upgraded?
We're planning on supporting this title very heavily with DLC, so there's going to be more special weapons and stuff like that coming down the pipe. And as you go through, you upgrade each of those weapons, and they to larger and larger effect. And the weapons themselves, they're customized for each character. So depending on who you pick, the effects of those weapons will vary.
And then, of course, along with the characters you picked, there are a nice range of characters there. I believe the one I was using was Bargain Nana, something like that. A very interesting character. You want to talk kind of about how those characters came about? Because they are very interesting.
Yeah, so, you know, the Anything with an Engine philosophy was the developers took that idea and decided to create this whole host of characters who drive souped-up versions of unusual cars. Like Bargain Nana drives a shopping cart with a V8 in it, you know? And other cars like the lawnmower guy, he drops a mine that's a bag full of lawn clippings, and he throws lawn gnomes at you as his missile. So a little sense of humor there.
And then you mentioned voice acting on the characters too. You want to go in about that a little bit?
Yeah, and so all the characters have a very distinctive personality, and they'll be throwing one-liners and jokes, you know, as you're going around through the race.
So any last words you want to say before we close this thing out? Any last-minute information?
Yeah, you know, we feature up to 4-player split-screen multiplayer and up to 8 players online in any combination thereof.
And then bots to fill in the other spaces?
Exactly, and coming out this summer for XBLA and PSN.
Any plans to bring it to WiiWare at all, anything like that?
Also going to come out on Wii, but as a full retail product, we're going to bundle all the DLC together and release that on disc.
Well, that makes sense. It seems like it would be play very well. I'm assuming with the steering wheel component, something like that. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it for this interview, guys. Keep staying in tune for more coverage, and we'll see you around.